This is my fish. This is my fish feed container. I make it a point of duty to feed my fish, whether it's my food fish or my normal ornamental fish, at least twice per day. Right? How does the fish in the wild fares out when there are no one there to actually feed them? This video points to that. Yeah, so they are being fed. Some convicts I have. Feed they have purchased at the pet shop. So the question is, who purchased the feed for the fish in the wild? The symbiotic relationship between the wild and the creatures that exist within the wild is so unique. This video, although a little lengthy, points into all the situation that exists. Stay tuned, guys. It should be an interesting video. Hi everybody, welcome again to another episode of Fish Keeping Jamaica. Welcome to my channel. So I'm in Clarendon, the parish of Clarendon, Jamaica, and I'm along the Salt River Road. And as shared in the intro of this video, the focus for this video is how do wild fish in the wild, actually feed? Because there's no person coming out to put feed in the space in which they would actually consume. Okay, so as you can see right there, those are duckweeds, right? And you have some water lily, the one that come out of the water with a brown leaf. Yeah, that one is coming up right there. These are vegetation that exists. It starts. Wow, there's a huge crab in the water. It's right there, right? I don't know if you can see it, but it's a large crab right there, right? And it seems as if they are made. No, the large crab is on the bottom. I don't have my underwater camera, so I can't actually, um, you know, go up close to the crab to see it. I don't know if you can actually see it. It's right there, right? Okay. So the emphasis here is how do they feed, and this is a space, and there's a reason why I pointed out um the the duckweed right there, right, and the vegetation that is coming up. Now I'm gonna be sharing with you. Wow, there's another crab. Wow, looks so cool. All right, so what happened is that the mosquito fish tends to hover at the top, or hover amongst the, what you call it, the Eladia densa, right? And they consume what you refer to as microscopic organisms that is found along the is found on the roots of the duckweed and the plants, right? And they get fat. And as they get fat, there are some jaguar cichlids in the water. Now, the jaguar cichlids actually consume the mosquito fish, right? And you have larger fish that in the small state, the jaguar cichlid will actually be consumed by those larger fish. And humans would actually, wow, and there's some plants releasing some amount of oxygen. Yeah, I did a video on that. So you have some, I call it now, yeah, you have the mosquito fish being eaten by the jaguar cichlid or a larger fish, and the larger fish being eaten by a larger fish, and then humans would actually come in here and they will actually, what you call it now, fish. But right now the place is filled with shrubs, filled with plants, because there have not been any cleaning for a long while, and the very large fish is actually eaten by crocodiles. Yeah, crocodiles exist within this water. I'm going to see if I can see any fish, actual fish, swimming on the top of the water. Give me a sec. Okay, so this is the other side of the space. There are several fish that lives within this space. There are several. I'm not sure if you are actually seeing them, but there are several mosquito fish within this space. And as I shared with you before, the mosquito fish will actually, and the mosquito fish and also other small fish will consume the microscopic organism that tend to exist around the plants that is actually coming up out of the water. And so there's a symbiotic relationship between the plants and the fish. The plants encourages the growth of microscopic organism, whether it be duckweed or these plants in totality, right? And the small fish, or you have some vegetarian fish, they will actually consume the duckweed. And as I can see, there are several spaces covered with duckweed, small duckweed. I have learned my lesson from that plant, and I will no longer encourage that plant within my space or any sensible person's space, right? And so there are several fish within the space, and this is how they survive. This water is probably about 7 to 8 feet deep. As simple as it looks 7 to 8 feet deep, right? Let's move on to a different space to see if we can actually see some fish swimming amongst the vegetation. If I'm on excursion of this nature, this is a space that I love to actually visit because it exemplifies practically most of what I share as far as you know, fish keeping experience, nature, everything. I was not prepared for this, guys. As usual, I'm never prepared for going to water all right. All right, so here I did a video on Eladia plants a few months, if not weeks ago. I think it's months, right? Oh, that's that looks like a jungle valve, but who not going to go for that, right? Because usually plants from the wild you're gonna have to sterilize and do a lot of things so as to get it ready for your aquarium, because you have issues with snails and other microorganisms that might exist within the space. All right, so there's a stream, there's a river. This is a river, right? This is the same river, but this is a lower section. Persons tend to use this for domestic purpose. This is a spring. The spring comes from underneath the road, and it originates. The water originates somewhere up into the mountains, right? Now, in this space, you have several. They probably might be hiding now, but you have several mosquito fish. You see one right here, right? Right, they are hiding. There are several mosquito fish, and these mosquito fish tend to hover at the top because there are larger fish that exist within the space that is looking for them for food, right? I am not geared up to go very deep, but what I can say is that these mosquito fish are not being fed by any human um, within the space, right? So when you think about fish within the wild, and wow, there's a jaguar cichlid right there, about a 1.5 inch one. It just passed right there, so in the water. It's hiding amongst the plant, right? A jaguar cichlid. Yeah, man. I know that there's a lot of them in here, along with Jack Dempsey, right? So they will actually be hunting the mosquito fish. I don't have my GoPro because um I just never planned to go out like this. And my GoPro, the battery is going, so I'm gonna have to get a new one, right? But there's a lot of hunters within this space, such as Dems fly nymph, such as jaguar cichlids, such as larger fish in which I don't know their names. Crabs. Crabs tend to consume the carcass of dead fish that exists within the space after probably something might have ate part of it, and you might have a head or a piece of the body left. um, Not every organism or fish within the space consume dead organism. right? So if I put a dead fish within my jagosiclid pond, it will not consume it. It has to be moving, right? But the crabs will consume it, crabs and snails, right? So those are the scavengers of natural waterways, right? That's why I am not too in tune to consume anything that is referred to as scavengers, right? Scavengers must not be eaten. All right, so you have microorganisms that exist on the plant, and they consume, that's the smaller fish, consume the microorganism on the plant, right? And the larger fish, which waits until the right time for them to actually hunt, they will sit amongst the plants and they will time the smaller fish, and as the smaller fish comes to feed on the plant, they will actually consume. So there is no feeding time per se. um I'm trying to get some amount of view of some of the mosquito fish, but because of how the phone is actually, well, because of the camera range I'm using, it's kind of difficult for you to identify the fish swimming in the water, because the fish is not like yellow, red, pink, blue, right? It's like camouflage within the water, and this is a good hunting mechanism for the fish, because the fish know that whether it be the small fish or the hunter itself is able to make it move, to move around without being spotted by you know either the prey or should I say, or the predator, right? So fish within the wild, whether it's at sea or in the wild, they do hunt for food. When you have a fish within your aquarium, your fish gets lazy. And so your fish no longer hunts. Your fish sits there and it waits on you to actually feed it. Now, if you should release your fish from, let's say, your aquarium to the wild, what will happen is that for the first couple of months or years, for the first couple of months or years, that, yeah, years for real, that the fish is within the wild, your fish is being prone to, well, that fish, because it's no longer your fish, it's in the wild, right? Will be prone for predation, meaning that um fish that consume fish. Wow, this is a crab hole, guys. A crab hole, right? These are the holes that the crab actually lives in, and the crab will actually come out in, especially in the night, and it will actually hunt for dead carcasses within the space. It's not so quick on the jaw to catch mostly live prey. You mostly catch well, it mostly consume prey that is either sick or dying or something like that, right? So as I was sharing with you, that the whole dynamics. So I can get some mosquito fish, you mean, right? All those jiggling in the water, those are mosquito fish swimming away from me, right? So within the water space is practically a forest, an underwater forest, where several different organisms and creatures live, and they survive by predation. And well, yeah, by predation, because the smaller fish consume microorganism, and the microorganism is living creatures too, right? So this is how they survive. All those little movements on the water are mosquito fish moving away from me, right? So this is it, right? Um, Fish exist in the wild. They survive in the wild. They do not eat every day, right? They are opportunistic. Wow, there's a large fish over there. I saw it the last time, but I can't tell you the name of the fish, right? But this is a dangerous water to tread in too deep, because you have crocodiles in the water itself. It's shallow over on this side, probably about 2 feet deep. Over on this side, it gets a little bit deeper, probably about 3 or 4 feet, and it gets deeper as you go along. But you have crocodiles, you know, in the, for example, that space right there. That's a crocodile heaven. think it's a nest or leading to a nest right there. Right, so in the night you don't want to venture around here because that's the time in which the crocodile actually comes out to hunt. And larger fish like the Jack Dempsey and the fish that I saw a while ago, along with the jaguar cichlids, that's the time in which they run because they now are being preyed upon by the crocodiles as food. Right, so I was sharing a few minutes ago that you release your fish within the wild, your fish will actually be preyed upon by larger fish because it is sitting there waiting on somebody to come and feed it. And so one of two things will happen to the fish. It either will be eaten or it actually will starve to death. Right? Fish in the wild, when you catch it and you carry it go home, it takes a while before the fish gets used to you feeding it. Um, and persons who have done this will realize that sometimes it takes even a week. The fish be like skinny or you know very very lethargic until it finally decides to grab at whatever you throw in the water. Now, some fish are like that. Some fish will just grab at anything because they are used to just as soon as something drop in the water, they'll go at it. But as far as some fish is concerned, you catch it, you put it in an aquarium. It takes a couple of hours, if not weeks, before it kind of consume the feed that you're actually feeding it, right? So it takes time. It's not that the fish is sick or something is wrong with your aquarium. It's just all of that. Now I hope that as I was sharing with you before, the organisms that exist, whether it be on the surface or below the surface. Let me see if I can get this mosquito fish. They're running. They're running. All the little bubbles all the little movement that you see on the water, mosquito fish running away. Right? Yeah, man. Mosquito fish. I have a few of them at home. I use them um to keep a pond alive at the top because oh yeah, and they also eat the larvae of insects such as like the larger one will eat the larvae of the dempsey fly and the dragonfly because the dempsey fly and the dragonfly also lay their eggs here, and if they do survive, um, they actually prey on the mosquito fish themselves, but the mosquito fish will actually prey on the little babies as they develop. So they are they are the eggs are laid within the space of the Eladia densa, the plant, in the space, and not over on this side. The water is a bit chilly, guys. It's about probably roughly about you would say about probably about 23. Wow, there's a lot of jaguar cichlids, this man. I've seen a lot of fish. They're coming around like they're hunting or something. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. No, those are not jags. Those are not jags. Those are not jags, but they are so beautiful. Right? They are right here. I I don't know if they're gonna come my way. They don't look like jags. I don't know if they're jags. No, they are not jags. Beautiful guys. I don't know if you can see them. I don't know if you can see them. Wow, it's a huge one. Like perch or something. Wow, awesome. Some baby ones. Some baby ones. Yeah. You're seeing these. I know that you're seeing these. Right? I mean, I saw a very large one. Persons actually fish these fish out of the water and they consume them. Yeah. I don't know what kind of fish this is. But this is one of those fish that gets up to like, wow, that's a large one, guys. Very large one. Oh, yeah. There it is. There it is. Yeah. Yeah. Large fish. Don't know what kind these are. A yellow and black tail, and a line, a yellow line from the snout to the tail. Right. They're awesome. Wow, there's a goby. Wow, there's a goby and I never saw it. It's so large. That's it for fish keeping Jamaica, guys. Yeah, they're out hunting for food. Hunting for food. Peace out. Yeah, if I do go in the water with my slippers, it's about 2 feet water. As soon as I go in the water, wow, some guppies. I know that guppies, they are predators too, right? They will eat. Wow. Guppies are predators. They will consume. There's a guppy right there. I never carry anything at all to catch anything. I just came here to do the little video. Alright, but there's a guppy right there. Peace out, guys. Catch you next time. Bye bye.